Hello and welcome back. I am your lore master, Elton Widebody. We're continuing to read the Jade Falcon Hollow Archives because they are there. Welcome back to another, I don't want to say exciting, what would you say? Enlightening. Let's go with that. Enlightening installment of reading all the words that somebody wrote down. Okay. We are at the Honorable History of Clan Jade Falcon. We are at Operation Revival, which is like 70 pages. I'm not even joking. Are you ready? Oh. Haha. Not even ready for that. Whoops, I didn't need to backspace that. Operation Revival! Our forces will use Operation Revival to attack in much the same way an unseen falcon strikes at a fat flying pigeon. With paralyzing surprise, undeniable momentum, and unstoppable force. We will leave behind only a haze of blood and a flurry of feathers, Khan Elias Kreitchel in a speech to his commanding officers. Inspiring words. Khan Kreitchel became the new Ilkhan's most trusted advisor because they shared a vision of the invasion. Together they crafted Operation Revival, a plan that would carve a deep gash through the inner sphere and seize Terra as its prize. So this is the clan invasion plan. They would be revivaling the Star League, which was the Crusader goal. Though the details changed slightly as the Grand Kurultai War Council discussed Operation Revival, the plan survived virtually untouched. The operation's strategic objective was to conquer enough inner-sphere star systems to provide a secure base of operations from which to launch further assaults against the successor states. Well, sounds reasonable. Whoa, that's a calculator. Ignore that. Sorry, my mouse cord is tangled with some other cords. But even this goal appeared insignificant when the Khans agreed to a proposal put forth by Khan Elias Kreitchel. Basing his suggestion on passages from the Kerensky archives, always a good idea to invoke the founders, Kreitchel proposed that the clan that conquered Terra become the Il Clan, and that the Il Clan's senior Khan would automatically become the Il Khan. Sort of a winner-takes-all kind of thing. He further proposed, in accordance with those same writings, that the Il Clan assume control of the free guilds, which are the merchants, techs, scientists, and other lower castes whose affiliation is to clan society and not to one clan. Every clan eagerly accepted the challenge. So he was talking about rolling all the lower castes of every clan into the service of the Il Clan. But, of course, that didn't happen. And what they felt was their coup de grace. There should be an A there. Obviously, this wasn't written by a Canadian, because Canadians always have an A. Oh, sorry. Crusader leaders decided that the most fitting punishment for Clan Wolf's persistent opposition to the clan dream of returning to the Inner Sphere was to include them in the invasion. Totally a good strategy there, Crusader guys. See how that worked out. The simple invasion plan reflected the clan expectation that they would encounter minimal organized opposition in the Inner Sphere. 4 clans would assault 4 separate corridors along a route that would slice through the Free Rasselhag Republic, the Federated Commonwealth, and the Draconis Combine. All 4 corridors ended on Terra, the final and most important invasion objective. Every clan participated in the trials to determine which would be allowed to join the invasion. Special rules limited the trial forces to 3 trinars per clan to prevent excessive bloodshed. Oh, one of the clans ever tried to prevent excessive bloodshed before. Ensuring that no clan would risk so much to win a position in the invasion that would have insufficient forces to fight effectively. So yes, they plowed right through the middle of the, what would be the upper, I should put a map in here that you could see where the invasion corridors were pretty much obliterated the Free Rasselhag Republic because it was in the way. It's very interesting when you think about it. This is a great throwback to the Schleifen plan of World War I, where the tactic for the German army was to roll over a lightly defended Belgium and then attack France from the Belgium border, which would be lightly defended through the north side. Belgium being represented by the Free Rasselhag Republic, and they were, in reality, the German forces were stopped, I believe it was like 60 miles outside of Paris, and so in turn became the infamous trench warfare of the war of attrition of the Great War. And it would be reflected here by the Truce of Tucaed, which would be, the Truce of Tucaed would be analogous to the armistice. And the clans would be sitting there sort of 60 light years from Terra, as it would be. You know, I never really thought about it that way, but that's very interesting. And it's always nice to see some historical background to, historical foundations to these sort of things. Because Clan Wolf was required to participate, it officiated at the trials to choose the remaining 3. Of course, because Clan Wolf was the only clan that matters. To no one's surprise, both Clan Jade Falcon and Clan Smoke Jaguar won positions. Ghost Bear, another strong Crusader clan, won the final main position. We'll be getting into the Ghost Bear soon. A second set of trials determined which clan would use which corridor. Alpha and Delta corridors lay through the Federated Commonwealth and the Draconis Combine, the 2 most powerful militaries in the Inner Sphere, and afforded the greatest opportunity for glory. The Ulkan assigned Clan Wolf to Beta Corridor, another not-so-subtle insult to their warden sensibilities. Yeah, Clan Wolf had pretty much an easy time just rolling over the Free Belgium Rasselhag Republic. Clan Jade Falcon won the honor of Alpha Corridor, prompting Khan Kreichel to order a week-long festival of celebration in all Falcon enclaves. Actually, the Jade Falcons did pretty well in their initial invasion. That the festival took place just 2 short weeks before the invasion force assembled to jump for the Inner Sphere indicates just how little concern the clan felt about what lay ahead. While Clan Wolf doggedly prepared for the worst, doggedly Wolf, struggling to rebuild its decimated 3rd Battalion, the Jade Falcons assumed that their Inner Sphere enemies would offer only uncoordinated resistance, simply ignoring what might happen beyond the first wave of the invasion. Yeah, see how that works out for you, Jade Falcons. Not all Jade Falcons shared that attitude. Commander Jessica Buchanan of Iota Galaxy and Logistics Overseer Tanner Calbut considered the amount of supplies Khan Kreichel requested for the Falcon Tuman inadequate, and shook their heads at the Khan's proposed disposition of supplies and projected rate of use. Well, maybe if they'd done more than shook their heads, they might have done better. They realized that the Khan and his advisors saw the coming invasion as little more than a series of trial-like encounters and planned few or no reserves to supply the galaxies should the enemy offer more than token resistance. Overconfident much? Mulholland and Talbot also recognized that the Falcons' stubborn neglect of exploration meant that the clan would not have enough military and commercial transports to move even the meager scheduled amount of supplies in a timely fashion. Yeah, logistics is key. Khan Krychel brushed these concerns aside, simply refusing to transport material he was convinced would never be used. It would make better sense to bring empty transports along to ferry our winnings back to our enclaves. He acknowledged their worries only so far as to order Falcon bankers to contract a few extra transports from the Free Guilds. The Free Guilds, in return for the Falcons' long-standing disdain for their caste, charged that clan extraordinarily high fees for each ship, while giving the other invasion clans a far more reasonable rate. Imagine that. The rank-and-file warrior shared Khan Krychel's attitude toward the invasions. Most expected to see little action, then a glimpse of the enemy's backside as they ran away. Yes, we'll be home in time for Christmas! Just like in World War I. General anticipation flourished among Clan Jade Falcon's lower caste, and many dreamed of soon traveling to the Inner Sphere among the first settlers. In June of 3049, the ships of the clan invasion made their first jump toward the Inner Sphere. The clan's exile was nearly over, and they looked forward to returning home bearing the riches and wonders of the Inner Sphere. See how that works out for you. Periphery action. By Kerensky's heart, the computers in first-level mech simulators are worthier opponents than these barbarians. Comment of a Jade Falcon warrior after action on the periphery world of Last Chance. Yeah, see, the thing about the periphery is that they're kind of the backwoods sort of places. They don't have the best machinery and the best pilots and the best stuff. So this leads to the clans having an overconfidence, expecting the rest of the Inner Sphere to be in such a state. The first inhabited worlds the clans encountered on their sweep toward the Inner Sphere were small colonies on the dim outskirts of the periphery that rings the Inner Sphere. These worlds and their tiny populations offered little or no opposition to the clan forces that suddenly appeared on their soil. Their only defense were errants, individual warriors hired to protect the inhabitants in the same way the lawmen of the North American West and master swordsmen in the ancient Orient protected communities. Cowboys and samurais! That would make an interesting movie. While some errants were skilled fighters, the overall condition of their weaponry was so poor that the outcome of most of their duels against clan warriors were a foregone conclusion. One exception for Clan Jade Falcon came on a lonely hunk of grassed-over rock called Twilight. Never trust anything named Twilight. 2 jumps outside the Oberon Confederation. Jade Falcon forces approached the planet using what they referred to as an indoctrination sweep, sending forces from the Falcon galaxy to provide a show of force. Shock and awe! Well, it hadn't been invented yet. Stars of mechs and elementals paraded through the center of every village, using bullhorns to announce the planet's absorption into the Jade Falcon sphere of clan prosperity. Where have I heard that before? That would be a reference to the Japanese, Imperial Japanese forces in World War II. The Greater Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere, or something like that, was what they called when they conquered their places. And it's interesting that they would call that because the Japanese in World War II had a very difficult time with their logistics as well, not expecting to have to maintain all these positions that they wound up strung out too far. So there's more historical analogs. The terror resulting from such sweeps usually served to quell any opposition. The Falcon light mech star that strode through the clustered buildings of a small Buddhist monastery on Twilight received a shock. That monkish community counted among its members Sarah Katrin, a highly admired battalion commander in one of the Draconis Combine's elite Sword of Light regiments and an honored mech instructor. Her wish to find inner peace following her retirement from active duty with the Combine military took Katrin to many worlds and an equal number of monasteries. She always traveled with self-deception. The mech awarded her by the grateful Kurita family. This is an interesting thing of the Draconis Combine and the House Kurita. Whereas the Japanese, in reality, the tradition is to hand down the katana, I believe, from various generations. It's reflected in House Kurita. They hand down their mechs from one generation to another. So that's another cool little thing of reflecting back into reality. One of the cool little details in Battletech that I like so much. I was honored to meet her during her days of wandering and was impressed by her skills and good humor. Who am I? Who's I? I suppose it would be Anastasia Focht again, writing this from this perspective. The Comstar President General. The warriors of Jade Falcon Galaxy, puzzled because the monks did not run in terror at their approach and showed even less emotion at the destruction of their temple, resorted to torturing the monastery's abbot in an effort to provoke a reaction. This is also noticeable because this is one of the very, 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 very few mentions of religion in Battletech. They pretty much just kind of swept that aside. It's outright mentioning of Buddhism here, so it's kind of unusual. At this outrage, the 59-year-old Sarah threw off her robes, showed up to the Star Commander's mech, and delivered a personal challenge in the time-honored Combine tradition, her gray hair trailing behind her in the wind and smoke. Star Commander Briggan of the 2nd Falcon Striker Cluster laughed, ha 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 ha, but accepted her challenge. As I watched the tapes of the fight, the tapes, remember this is the 80s, of the fight between Briggan and his Uller A, this would be the Kit Fox A, I don't remember what the A configuration is off the top of my head, and Katrin in her Phoenix Hawk, which is an unseen mech. I understood why it raised some Falcon Warriors' eyebrows. Katrin, though long out of practice, managed to stay out of danger long enough to regain her confidence. Yeah, 59 years old is very old for a MechWarrior, even in the Inner Sphere. Briggan, momentarily surprised by his opponent's skill, approached her more cautiously than was wise, giving Katrin even more time to reorient herself. I believe the Phoenix Hawk is a 45-ton mech. It's got a 15-ton advantage over the Kit Fox. Katrin warmed up in mid-battle, using a flurry of attacks and riposts to search for a weakness in the Uller's armor and armament. Well, part of the weakness is the Kit Fox's armor. It's so thin. She found precious few and was almost defeated when Briggan counterattacked with several volleys from his Gauss cannon. Oh, the Kit Fox A is the one that has the Gauss rifle. That forced Katrin to shift quickly to avoid a direct hit. Despite her considerable skill, she lost whole sections of armor, ran up her mech's heat, and, most damning, lost all her lasers. Oh no. But she was not unarmed. Katrin still managed to disable her opponent's left leg by rushing in and leveling a wicked kick at the outside of the other's knee, causing it to buckle immediately and freeze. Yeah, because when you're got those big damn battling robots of the future, with all them lasers and missiles, they're gonna run up to each other and punch and kick and stuff. Katrin rapidly. Oh, I should mention also that the clans are not. The clans consider physical attacks between mechs highly dishonorable, so they are not well disciplined and expecting of the physical attacks. So that would catch him off guard. Katrin, rapidly running out of options and with her mech barely hanging together, ended the battle with a flare typical of her entire career. She jetted her Phoenix Hawk high above the Uller and crashed down, targeting the Hawk's legs at the Uller's cockpit. Death from above! A panicked twist of the Uller's shoulders saved Star Commander Brigand, and Katrin's Phoenix Hawk crashed to the ground, its legs useless. Yeah, she failed her pilot role. The former battalion commander gave no quarter and asked none. Star Commander Brigand lived up to her expectations, quickly hobbling over to his opponent and repeatedly firing his left arm lasers into the Phoenix Hawk's cockpit. This sickening moment seemed worse because few clan warriors appeared disturbed by the sight of Brigand reaching into the cockpit, ripping out the corpse of Sarah Katrin and holding it triumphantly aloft. Ugh! That is some kind of messed up and screwed up. And I guess that's why the mechs have hands. Ugh. That's just weird. When I discussed the tapes and the Falcon Warriors' reaction with several warriors from Clan Wolf, I was startled to learn that they had often seen such macabre celebrations. One warrior even admitted to behaving in a similar fashion. She described a battle against a member of the bandit caste who, after being defeated by the clan warrior, taunted her by announcing with his dying breath that she had almost been undone by an old freeborn. An insult that apparently deserved a similar bloody demonstration of clan warrior superiority. Yeah, the clans take that trueborn, freeborn stuff seriously. The Barony of Strang. I, the Baron of Strang, care not for your new names. Clans? Jade Falcons? I call you by your true name, scum of the Star League. Traitors of free will, persecutors of the periphery, come back to lord it over freedom-loving people. Come ahead, you steel-eyed robots. Come ahead and taste what a million like-minded people think of you and your damn clans. Get your damn clans hands off me, you damn dirty Falcons. Maybe. Baron Stepan von Strong, in reply to the Jade Falcon challenge. Because the periphery worlds on the clan invasion path did not lie within the 4 assault corridors, each Khan could bid for the honor of invading any of these worlds. Von Strong's world prompted the fiercest bidding of all for 2 reasons. The clans looked upon this world as their first challenge. A regiment of mechs defended the planet, and an extensive network of defensive positions surrounded Amorous City, the planet's capital and only major city. Amorous City, named after Stefan Amorous, the usurper who took over the Star League and made it his own, and everything went bad then. History provided the second reason for their intense interest. The Von Strong name is infamous to the clans, and indeed any student of the Amorous coup. The tall, gaunt, and thoroughly evil Colonel Gunther von Strong, reviled as Vampire von Strong, was his maiden name the Bad Guy, you get more evil. Adolf, the bad guy, commanded the despised 18th Emmerich Chasseurs, known as the Death's Head Regiment, or the SS. Stefan Emmerich gave von Strong and his sadistic soldiers administrative control over the northeastern section of the North American continents to hold and exploit as von Strong saw fit. So, all of New England and I guess Montreal, maybe. The relish with which von Strong and his troops stripped the cities of goods, killed countless civilians for perverted thrills, and deprived the survivors of even the most basic rights, quickly made them the most hated of all Emmerich units. Yeah, that'll do that for you. General von Strong and the 18th met a bitter, violent end during the last days of the fight to liberate Terra, when units from Kerensky's 146th Royal Battle Mech Division, George S. Patton Division, another throwback to the World War II names, crushed the 18th as it attempted to flee Terra through the LaGuardia spaceport. Oh, they must have got held up at the TSA checkpoint. Yeah, bringing back to mind the last holdouts of the Nazis in World War II. Death's Head also is a thematic of the Nazi Party and the SS. When the clans discovered a world apparently named for Vampire von Strong, every Khan wanted revenge on the vampire's descendants. Clan Jade Falcon won the bidding, and Khan Elias Krychel immediately announced that he would lead the Turkina Keshik personally on the assault to rid humanity of that accursed name. Their faint hope of actually facing a descendant of Vampire von Strong became reality. Well, once Jade Falcon has something going for it that it wants to have happen. When Khan Krychel issued his Bachal, the traditional demand for information about a planet's defending forces, Stepan von Strong, the planet's young leader and direct inheritor of the von Strong name, replied with threats and curses. I fart in your general direction. The young Periphery Lord recognized the threat to his domain. Like his father and his grandfather, he grew up despising the Star League and the way it had run roughshod over the Periphery, all those bad guys, of course. When he saw the warships arrayed around his planet, his instinctive hatred of anything associated with the Star League prompted an amazing leap of intuition. He knew he was facing the children of Kerensky's Exodus. Smart guy, I guess. Once von Strong made it clear that he would recognize no rules, the Turkina Keshik dropships began burning into the atmosphere toward a landing zone on the plain of the Rim World's Republic, north of Emmer City. Plain of the Rim World's Republic. That is a strange name to call a plane on a planet that is wholly owned by the Nevermind. Von Strong's determined aerospace fighters met them above the planet, ignoring the escorting clan fighters to attack the dropships in an attempt to disable them. But Von Strong's force was outclassed, and clan firepower slapped them from the skies. Once on the ground, the Turkina Keshik encountered more formidable opposition. The approaches to Amorous City boasted heavy fortifications, a system of bristling turrets interconnected by tunnels. Though less effective than Starleague era fortifications, they served to slow the Keshik's advance. Only after 2 points of elementals found access to the tunnels and began a brutal quarter-to-quarter sweep did the gun turrets grow silent. Sort of reminiscent of the Battle of Berlin, with the Soviet forces had to go building to building, rooting them out. Then the mechs and tanks of von Strong's Guard Division began a series of attempted ambushes in the valley's cul-de-sacs. Though they seldom caused more than minor damage to the clan forces, they too slowed the Falcons' advance. The clan warriors emerged through the pass to a twilight view of the amorous city entrenchments. A view quickly obscured by a fierce storm filled with furious lightning strikes. It was becoming harder by the minute to see Khan Krychel's target. Khan Krychel ordered the Keshik ahead at flank speed as planned, but sent a flight of fighters loaded with infrared, electrical, and other sensing devices to scout the terrain. This proved to be a wise decision. Oh, wise decisions from a Jade Falcon? Oh, say it ain't so. Von Strong hid the bulk of the Grand Division in a complex of underground garages, hoping that the clan's faith in their superior equipment would lead them to risk a nighttime assault. The clans took the bait. They fought their way through the ring of entrenchments and fortifications, depending on elemental engineers to scout ahead, and entered the heart of the city. As the clan warriors reached von Strong's palace, the guard mechs moved out to attack from the rear. The Falcon forces were unaware of their danger until a clan fighter, just seconds from returning for refueling, spotted the guards and sounded the alarm. Hey, Rube! Khan Krychel wheeled his forces to face the threat, and the two sides collided, fighting fiercely for an hour in the raging thunderstorm. That must have been like the most metal thing ever! Von Strong's forces, though determined and reasonably skilled, found themselves outclassed by the Turkina Keshik's superior technology, as it always happens. Even though the odds favored the periphery forces, they could not find any weaknesses in the clan's tactics and weaponry to exploit. Well, then how were they favored in the odds? Von Strong's forces hesitated for a moment when they realized that the clans were apparently invulnerable, and the elementals took advantage of that moment to swarm over the guard mechs like piranhas on a drowning cow. Yeah, Clan Jade Falcons using the IDDQD code. Baron von Strong's Battlemaster finally fell to Khan Krychel's Thor, also known as the Summoner. And the Khan paraded around the palace with the Baron's body in the fist of his mech. Yeah, there's that thing again. Von Strong's few remaining forces attempted to break contact and slip away in the night, but the Falcons hunted them down and killed them. They also killed those who surrendered and begged for mercy. Oh, no quarter. The Keshik crushed the few remaining pockets of resistance by dawn, and Khan Krychel officially renamed Emerald City as Unity City in honor of the former capital of the Star League. As an added reminder of who was in charge, the Khan ordered the body of Baron Stepan von Strong hoisted up the flagpole to dangle just below the banners of the Star League and of Clan Jade Falcon until it putrefied and fell to the ground. Jeez, man. That's all kinds of weird and morbid. Ugh. Kind of a throwback to Vlad the Impaler. Legend says that the body fell on the day Comstar 1 2K'd, and that as it fell, people heard Stepan von Strong's howling laughter in the wind. Now that would be Stepan von Wolf, right? Steppenwolf? Conquest of the Periphery. It was an aberration, a quirk, the exception that proves the rule, and nothing more, I assure you. Star Captain Jin Buhalan in her report to the Kurultai concerning the battle for Von Strong's world. The fight on Von Strong's world gave... well, I guess that's literally the name of it. Von Strong's world, okay. The fight on Von Strong's world gave Khan Krychel a rude awakening. Even though the Falcons suffered minimal losses, the defenders' fierce resistance and devious tactics contradicted their previous periphery experience. But if this caused the Falcons any concern about facing the much stronger Federated Commonwealth in the upcoming campaign, they submerged those concerns beneath their typical arrogance. Khan Krychel dismissed the fierce intensity of the battle as a factor of the thunderstorm, which degraded everyone's ability to find the enemy, rather than acknowledge the skill of von Streng's warriors. His Keshik fully supported his view. Of course, he's the cult of personality after all, chalking up the fight to a fluke. The Khan and his advisors nonetheless suppressed the particulars of the battle, especially just how near the Keshik came to being taken unaware, restricting the most revealing records and providing only general information to the other clans. No, Jade Falcon is not going to learn, ever. Twice more Clan Jade Falcon battled substantial enemy forces, facing the 2nd and 3rd mech battalions of Red Jack Ryan's regiments in the worlds of Last Chance and Goddardammerung. It's a cool name there. It comes from I believe it's a Wagnerian opera, and it's literally the end of the world. And that's be an interesting place to have it. The Jade Falcons first met Ryan's forces in an encounter on Last Chance during the first week of September. Alpha and Bravo trinaries, shouldn't that be Alpha and Beta? Of the 3rd Assault Cluster handily defeated Ryan's 2nd Battalion. When the periphery units attempted to retreat off-world, Falcon fighters prevented their escape and they surrendered. Clan warriors bonded most of those captured, imprisoned some, and executed the rest. On Goddardammerung, the Falcons faced Ryan's 3rd Battalion. This time, the defenders put up a better fight. It took 2 trinaries of Gerfalcon Galaxy to corner and destroy the battalion on the rock-strewn floor of the Mishup Crater. Both these victories took place after Clan Wolf's encounter with the remainder of Red Jack Ryan's forces and units from the Kellhounds on the asteroid called The Rock, which used to be known as the asteroid Dwayne Johnson. Their opponent's skill impressed Clan Wolf, especially that of the Kellhounds, who were in the area hunting for Ryan's forces. Wolf Clan's Khan Kerensky distributed tapes of the skirmishes to the other clans, pointing to them as proof that the coming fight with the Inner Sphere could be more challenging than anticipated, but the ease with which the Falcons destroyed the rest of Ryan's regiment contradicted Ulrich's assessment. Oh, clans, not gonna learn. The Falcon and Smoked Jaguar Khans brushed aside Khan Ulrich's warnings and renewed their charges against him of persistent doomsaying and reluctance to carry out the Grand Council's wishes. The last periphery world fell to the clans near the end of 3049, and the invaders spent the last 2 months of that year consolidating their holdings by ferrying in a minimal civilian force to establish basic services and to stockpile supplies. Khan Kreitschel ordered most Falcon supplies unloaded on the planet Lakhov to free up as much space on his jump ships as possible for the coming wave of attacks against the Federated Commonwealth. Ilkhan Leo Showers convened a Grand Kurultai on 18 February 3050 aboard the Direwolf, the Clan Wolf ship. His opening speech to the gathered Khans and their command staffs praised their efforts and predicted a bright future for the invasion, so bright they'll have to wear shades. Especially if the battles fought thus far were any indication of the Inner Sphere's strength. We can only guess at whether or not Khan Kreitschel and his staff grew uneasy at the Ilkhan's words, considering just how hard they had fought on von Strong's world. We know for a fact, however, that the Falcons used the results of this meeting to review and slightly revise the first wave invasion plan. The clans also discussed Comstar during the Kurultai. During the previous month, our Blessed Order made its first official contact with the clans. So yes, this would be written by Anastasius Foscht. Seeing an opportunity to spread our message and gain greater influence in the Inner Sphere, Primus Waterly allied our order with the clans. According to the final terms of the alliance, Comstar agreed to provide to the clans detailed information about worlds they plan to invade. Oh, that's very traitorous. In return, Comstar would receive at least nominal control over the populations of the conquered worlds. Okay. collaborating with the enemy, building a Vichy France here. Though Clan Jade Falcon trusted the Ilkhan to further the clan's cause with any negotiations he undertook, many within that clan felt uncomfortable with the arrangement with Comstar. This faction included Khan Krychel, who questioned the wisdom of trusting an Intersphere organization on so little information and no guarantee of its intentions. Now you're going to start questioning everybody. The Falcons hesitated even when reminded of the unexpected allies prophesied by the great Kerenskys. Privately, Khan Krychel considered our Blessed Order just another perverted barbarian organization undeserving of an iota of trust. Now tell me what you really think, Khan Krychel. I believe I must shoulder some of the blame for this ill will. I met Khan Krychel during my initial contact with the clans, and though the man and his senior officers impressed me, I disliked him. I still do not fully understand my unreasoned wariness of Khan Krychel, but he and his officers obviously sensed it and responded in kind, even though we exchanged easy pleasantries. Khan Krychel's feelings towards Comstar and myself spread throughout his clan and severely strained the already tense relations between our representatives and the clans. On worlds in the Jade Falcon Occupation Zone particularly, members of our military suffered close scrutiny. Harassment of our troops, whether ordered by Falcon commanders or spontaneous, became commonplace and sometimes led to tragedy. This general distrust prompted the Falcon hierarchy to station extra forces on their conquered worlds just to keep an eye on Comstar, a policy that proved to be a poor use for troops that they would need later in their assault. Yeah, that's what you get. Not enough forces to garrison and occupy your places. First wave, Falcon in flight. Upon our gutted towers, the Falcon feasts upon our future, devouring all that we could have been. Excerpt from the Clan Anthology, Poetry in Time of Crisis, edited by Virginia Davenport. Clan Jade Falcon began their invasion of the Inner Sphere on 20 March 3050 by launching simultaneous attacks against 10 Federated Commonwealth worlds. Clan leaders intended to accomplish two goals in the first wave: to win and to completely demoralize the successor states with their skill, ferocity, and appearance. Two goals: to win and to completely demoralize. There should be a comma there. The Falcons went to great lengths to make their appearance as fearsome as possible. They painted their mechs' exteriors in a wild variety of schemes, ranging from amazing camouflage patterns to almost psychedelic combinations of colors and designs. Elemental armor also received special attention, the Galaxy's Falcon emblem appearing on the helmet, shoulders, and back of most. Some commanders even attached synthetic feathers to their armor. All the worlds attacked during the first wave of invasions experienced an almost identical chronology of events. Clan naval vessels, remarkably adept at evading the Inner Sphere's electronic tripwire systems, usually managed to approach to standard clan orbit, 0.75 IS standard. Standard orbit, Mr. Sulu. Unchallenged, then the clan commander would issue the Bachal, or challenge, to the oblivious defenders below. Each clan begins its Bachal with a sentence unique to the clan. The wolves declare, "The wolves of Kerensky have claimed this world for their own. What tame dogs defend it?" The Smoke Jaguar Bachal begins. "The Smoke Jaguar claims this world, identifies the forces that defend it so that we from the mists of space may know on whom we pounce." The Ghost Bears use a more businesslike opening. "We are Clan Ghost Bear. This world is ours. Those who dispute our claim must identify the size and location of their forces for immediate disposal. Resistance is futile." Clan Jade Falcon opens its challenge with, What forces dare defend this world from the steel talons of the Jade Falcon? Many worlds invaded by the Falcons during the first and subsequent waves, however, did not receive this courteous warning of their incoming demise. Incoming demise? Oh, looming demise, actually. Whatever. I like my way better. Though technically a breach of clan etiquette, many Falcon commanders refused to issue the Batchall to barbarians, and many defenders learned they were being invaded only by the sudden appearance of entry trails on their radar. Nah, that's not very honorable at all, is it? As the defenders scrambled for their vehicles, they discovered the clan's devastating ability to drop mechs and dropships into landing zones too rugged and demanding for all but the most elite inner sphere units. Clan units usually chose drop zones well within their enemy's defensive perimeters, and the Falcons often landed so close to enemy positions that they opened fire on the defenders before hitting the ground. Most clan attacks also succeeded because they were direct. Current inner sphere military tactics strike at a combination of targets using anything but a frontal assault. This would be because of the lack of resources that they can replace their mechs with. The clans, particularly the more conservative such as Jade Falcon, attack with the exact opposite strategy. They reject any other tactics as freeborn deviousness. Their battle philosophy of dueling, even in large engagements, dictates a series of devastating direct attacks known as the Nathacular, the strike of the unswervable sword. In keeping with Nicholas Kerensky's goal of minimal loss of life and property in combat, the clan's initial objective in each attack was to identify and cripple or destroy the defender's command, communication, and control positions. Is that it? Failing that, they simply took on the largest concentration of enemy forces, using the rationale that if we can't cut off the enemy's head, we cut off his arms instead. Well, it's just a flesh wound. For the Jade Falcon to man, the first wave brought unexpected glory and a few surprises. Though they possessed a fair amount of information about their opposition, based in large part on the reports of Wolf's Dragoons and other independent operatives, some information was simply unavailable. The Falcons knew that AFFC regimental combat teams protected certain worlds, including Barcelona, here, and Trell 1, and would offer stiff resistance. Yeah, the planets, the systems in Battletech have some strange names. AFC, Allied, FC is Federated Commonwealth. Armed Forces of the Federated Commonwealth, I believe. And would Falcon commanders prepared for these worlds by setting the cut-down bid at a minimum of 2 clusters, by assigning elite units such as the Turkina Kashik and the Jade Falcon Guards to either spearhead the initial assaults or act as a ready reserve. Even the worlds classified as lightly defended required more effort than expected to conquer because the clans, particularly the Crusaders, consistently underestimated the skill and determination of local militias. They largely dismissed reports provided by Wolf's Dragoons as the lies of traitors, and ignored their own intelligence service operatives. These low estimates proved accurate in the Free Rasselhag Republic, but disastrous in the Federated Commonwealth and Draconis Combine. So the Free Rasselhag Republic is a small splinter state, and the Federated Commonwealth is House Steiner, and Draconis Combine is House Kurita. They're major powers in the inner sphere. The core of the Federated Commonwealth militia are mech companies, which the commanders divide into lances and attach to infantry and armor battalions. The lances serve as the cornerstones of the defensive positions. Instead of rushing to meet the approaching Falcon mech stars, they waited for the mechanized units to slow the enemy advance. This tactic thoroughly confused the Falcons, who expected mechs to be at the forefront of every battle. The Inner Sphere is much more better at using combined arms tactics, where the clans use the mech as the end-all, bring-all. The militias took advantage of the Falcons' uncertainty to create a strategy they used in good effect during the first and most of the second waves of the invasion. Conventional militia forces, led by tanks and hovercraft, contacted the advancing clan units. The Falcons would wade into the militia force, causing heavy damage, but before they could completely destroy the defenders, a lance of mechs would appear and challenge the clan pilots to a duel. Uh-oh. Clan honor required that they break off their attack against the ground units and observe the rules of the Batchal. The clan rights of honorable combat, also known as Zellbriggen. The Falcons' strict adherence to clan wall, which included determining a circle of equals for a duel, gave the militia forces time to retreat. Once the conventional forces were safely away, the mechs retreated after loosing a single volley of firepower. Needless to say, the Falcons viewed the tactic with considerable disgust and anger. Oh, how dishonorable. While the tactic called Falcon Fooling never prevented the Falcons from taking what they wanted, many soldiers survived that would have otherwise have died. The Jade Falcon Khans soon abandoned the Batchal entirely, allowing Falcon warriors to ignore any challenge issued by an Intersphere warrior. They also gave their warriors permission to punish anyone who took advantage of their strict adherence to the Code of Honor. Yeah, you see, Jade Falcon always quick to toss out the rules of honor when it's inconvenient. Trail 1. The loss of my son, albeit a tragedy for me, would not mean one jot more or less than the loss of any highly trained soldier of the Federated Commonwealth. The life of every man or woman serving in the AFFC is precious but forfeit to protect what we are. More important, they themselves believe it is our right to exist free from outside tyranny. From a private communique, there should be an E at the end of there, authored by First Prince Hans Davian and Archon Melissa Steiner Davian during the height of the Trell 1 invasion. The planet Trell 1 consists mainly of marshes, mountain ranges, and spectacular cave systems that served as a haven for pirates and smugglers during the early days of the Lyran Commonwealth. Yesterday's pirates gradually became today's businessmen, transforming Trell 1 into an important economic and administrative center. For that reason alone, Trell 1 placed high on the Falcon Commander's list of primary worlds to conquer. But the presence of a young battalion commander in the planet's defending 12th Donegal Guards, Victor Steiner Davian, heir to the Federated Commonwealth, turned Trell 1 into a prize beyond all price. Yeah, this heir to the throne and everything. All that feudalism stuff that totally makes sense. The 12th Donegal Guards, RCT, Roller Coaster Tycoon, adapted the military doctrine of the new armed forces of the Federated Commonwealth. When other Lyran units resisted, quickly molding themselves into a swift-moving unit able to work in concert with other regiments to deliver a fearsome combination of firepower and speed. That's a hell of a sentence there. This was a marked contrast to the reputation of Lyran mech units as plodding metals that spurned any assistance from conventional units. Credit for much of the unit's success belongs to Lieutenant General Jeremy Huxworth, one of the first Lyran officers to receive special training at the New Avalon Military Academy. New Avalon is a place, kind of the high-tech, sort of ultimate college lab military school thing. It's kind of like the West Point of the Federated Commonwealth, and they also do some reverse engineering and stuff there too, of the clan stuff. Under his skilled leadership, the 12th Donegal RCT served with distinction in the Third Succession War and the War of 3039, where they earned the nickname the Foxy Crocodiles. Huh? Because the RCT maneuvered and fought in a manner similar to that fearsome, cunning reptile. The Foxy Crocodile? The Fox Croc? Following the War of 3039, the Crocs went to Trell for rest and refit and received a permanent assignment to that world as the parent unit of the Co-op 4, Commonwealth Opposition Force, because we have to abbreviate everything in the future. A battalion-sized unit commonly known as the Red Brigade. Trail 1 served as a training ground for Federated Commonwealth forces, and the Red Brigade regularly scheduled a month-long series of battles designed to simulate the tactics favored by the Draconis Combine and the Free Worlds League. Oh, that's very interesting that they would call it the Red Brigade, because it's very similar to what would be known as the U.S. Air Force, I believe, calls it the Red Arrow Tactic and Training Command, where they train the pilots to fight as they would fight in enemy units and enemy fighter jets. I believe it's called Red Arrow, so that's another interesting little throwback to real historical times. Though the Red Brigade enjoyed a fierce reputation throughout the Commonwealth, Clan Intelligence somehow overlooked it. Whoa, what a surprise! Ultimately allowing it to play an important role in the battle for Trell 1. The Jade Falcons considered Trell such an important prize that Con Krychel declined all bids for that planet, and instead assigned 3 clusters, led by the elite Jade Falcon Guards, to seize it. The Guards and the 1st and 5th Falcon Striker clusters attacked using standard Falcon tactics, following a simple, direct plan created by Star Colonel Adler Malthus of the Guards. The Foxy Crocodiles, it still sounds silly to me, suffered horrible losses in the first 30 minutes of the attack. The rugged terrain favored the defenders, but caused communication difficulties that left small pockets of soldiers to fight and die without hope of relief. Company Bravo of 1st Battalion made one of the most heroic stands of the encounter, holding the Pirate Chasm Bridge on the raging Drebin River. Frank Drebin? For 40 minutes against 2 stars of Falcon Mechs and Elementals, while Donegal combat engineers tried desperately to rig the bridge with the explosives. They succeeded, but only a handful of soldiers survived. Lieutenant General Hawksworth quickly realized that the invaders were not interested in seizing Pirate's Paradise. They wanted his forces, specifically the commander of the 2nd Battalion of his mech regiment, Victor Steiner Davian. A recent graduate with honors from the Nagelring Military Academy, Prince Victor had no combat experience, and General Hawksworth must have shuddered at the implications of his death or capture by the Falcons. Oh, that would be great. Send Prince Harry out to fight the Nazis, right? The future leader of the Federated Commonwealth began his career as a military commander by fighting a lost cause. Well, that's good. His battalion was in position on the far side of the Castle Mountains in the Kreisel Pass, on schedule to meet the Red Brigade in an exercise. When the battalion's outriders picked up unidentified hostile traces on their monitors, they assumed the Red Brigade had arrived to begin the exercise, and those scouts died for their assumption. They did manage to warn Commandant Steiner Davian, who put his battalion on full alert. There's an interesting little analogy to the attack on surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, because the early contacts that the U.S. Navy picked up on their radar were mistaken as a flight of B-17s coming in from California that were scheduled, and they assumed that was the Japanese attacking forces fighters were the B-17s on their radar, and the radar wasn't quite accurate enough. So it's an interesting little throwback there. The onrushing elements of the Jade Falcon Guards seemed unstoppable. Their mechs crashed into the battalion's defensive positions, all but ignoring kill zones of crossfire. What the Falcon mechs did not immediately knock down or destroy, they left to the tender mercies of their elemental stars. Yeah, there's not a lot of mercy from them. Commandant Davian quickly ordered the remains of his command to retreat back through Crystal Pass, hoping to reach Smuggler's Valley. But that plan failed. They arrived at the pass to be strafed by Falcon fighters and attacked by a binary of Falcon mechs and elementals. Commandant Davian rallied his forces and retreated again, losing more of his troops in the process. Oh man. They moved towards Smuggler's Mouth. Everything has a pirate name or something? Jesus, like the Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Intending to seek refuge in the immense network of caverns that honeycombs the Castle Mountains. As his forces rushed toward the mouth, Commandant Davian realized that the rest of the Jade Falcon guards could easily intercept their flight to safety, and the Falcons from the Crystal Pass had position on them from the rear. History turned on this moment in the battle. The prince's capture would have devastated First Prince Hans Davian and Archon Melissa Steiner, likely demoralizing the entire Federated Commonwealth. Well, we can't have that happen. That nation looked upon the young prince as the reality of the often tentative union between the Lyran Commonwealth and the Federated Sons. The death or capture of Victor Steiner Davian would deal the Federated Commonwealth a tremendous blow. As the prince and his command staff prepared to make a final stand, the Red Brigade came to the rescue. As part of the scheduled training exercise, the brigade had taken up shielded positions and waited to ambush the 2nd Battalion. The Falcons failed to detect the brigade unit as they passed. Lieutenant General Nikolai Van Lee, brigade commander, realized what was happening almost immediately and began a forced march in pursuit of the Falcons. His forces arrived just in time to attack the Falcon Guard rear echelon. The rear assault forced the Jade Falcon Guards to turn and deal with the new threat, giving Commandant Davian and what remained of his battalion the opportunity to slip into the maze of caverns. Only a handful of mechs and soldiers from the Red Brigade made it into the caverns with the prince. Their escape from Dunkirk. The fight within the caverns deserves far more attention than I have space to describe it. Oh, please! Please don't use more words! The battalion survivors, under the daring leadership of the prince, managed to escape into Smuggler's Valley with few additional losses, leaving their pursuers behind in the caverns. The sacrifice of the Red Brigade and the prince's escape slowed the Falcons' attempt to encircle Smuggler's Paradise. Lieutenant General Hawksworth, his command of an entire RCT reduced to a handful of mechs and a few regiments of lesser forces, used his one remaining advantage to send the prince to safety. His aerospace fighters still controlled the sky directly above the valley. As he watched the dropship carry the unwilling prince and his aide away from the planet, Lieutenant General Hawksworth was heard to mumble, "There goes the last best chance of the Federated Commonwealth. We'll give the hard road we're about to walk down some meaning." The remnants of the Donegal Guards, led by Hawksworth, and the surviving detachments of the Red Brigade abandoned Smuggler's Valley by traveling back through Smuggler's Maze. Many soldiers fled into the heavily forested areas in the valleys beyond, while others remained in the caverns beneath the mountain. These forces fought a long and desperate guerrilla campaign that ended only when the last soldier was dead or captured many months later. First wave conclusions, eh? Oh, there's a second wave and there's a... No. Okay. Oh, third wave and the fourth wave. Okay. I'm gonna stop this session here because this is ridiculous. As always, thank you for watching, and until the next time, be excellent to each other. Quiaf. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, or subscribe. You can also interact with me on Twitter and Facebook at L1011Widebody. And if you'd like, you can pledge to sponsor me at patreon.com/L1011Widebody.